Hello there. In this tutorial, you're going to learn how to use melody loops in any key and in any tempo to match into your current project in FL Studio, no matter the key, no matter the tempo, no matter the source you got your sample from. It's going to sound like it makes sense every time you follow this nice, simple step. If you're new, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button down below and let's get started. So right here, I have a couple of melody loops, okay? And they are all in different keys. You can see I have my main chords in B minor, my trumpet in D minor, my guitar in B flat minor, my vocal chop in F major, and then I have my drums. When I play all together, it's going to sound like a mess. They are not on tempo, they are not in key. It's going to sound like a terrible mess. But not to worry, we're going to make it make sense, all right? So now we're going to focus on our drum and our chords. Our chords is B minor. All right, so before we start setting the key and the tempo, there are a couple of things that you need to know. The first is, what is a relative key? All right, so right here, this is a typical keyboard layout, okay? So you can see we have C, C sharp, or D flat, then D sharp, or A flat, then E. So when you go up, it's called a sharp, all right? Then when you come back down, it's called a flat. It's really easy, trust me, it's not technical at all. So now, what is a relative key? A relative key simply means when a key exists as a major, let's say C major, there's another scale, let's say a minor scale, that has the same number of keys and the same notes exactly as the major scale. For example, relative key for C is A minor. For C major scale is A minor. For example, if I want to go from C major and I want to find the relative key in the minor scale, this is C, right? So I have to do is count 3 steps back. 1, 2, 3. Yes, including the black key. So I just have to count 1. This is the 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So if I want to find the relative minor for, let's say, A, this is major scale of A. I want to find the relative minor for key A, right? All I have to do is count 3 steps behind. So this is A, this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So the relative minor for key A major scale is F sharp minor, all right? Either F sharp minor or G flat minor, all right? So that's the relative minor. So it's really, because this will come in handy when we start getting samples that are in minor scale, and maybe our chords is in major scale, or our chords is in major scale, and we have melody loops in minor scale. So it's important that you actually know how this works. It's really easy to use. So you can simply count 3 notes behind to get the relative minor, or you count 3 notes ahead to get relative major. Because if you count, for example, 3 steps ahead from A, this is 1, 2, 3. Relative major for A minor is key C major, all right? All right, so in FL Studio, you can see our chord is in B minor, all right? So now we have our melody loop also in D minor. So how do we go from D minor to B minor? And that's where another term comes in called transpose. So transposing music simply means changing the root key of a sound into another key, okay? So, and that usually makes you change the pitch, but without affecting the relationship between the existing notes. So how do we go from D minor to B minor? Now let's revisit that diagram again. So this is D and this is B, okay? So how do we go from D to B, all right? So you can do 2 things. Either you can count backwards or you can count forwards, all right? And each note you count forward is a semitone or 100 cents. So now let's count. So now this is D minor and we're trying to go to B minor, all right? So now let's count. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all right? So now this is 900 cents or 9 semitones. So if we're to go backwards from D to key B, right, simply just go, this is 1, 2, that is 300, that is 200, right? Then this is, remember, this is also a repetition because it just repeats on a different octave. Then 3, all right? So that is 300 cents if you're trying to go backwards. You want the pitch to sound a bit more on the lower scale, right? So that is minus 300 cents or minus 3 semitones. And if you're going up, it's plus 900 cents or plus 9 semitones. So now let's look at FL Studio, right? So I'm going to double click this. I'm going to come right here, this where it says pitch. So I could either go all the way up right here where it says plus 900 cents, all right? So now you can see that it's on key. So now I can just take it back. Let's try minus 300 cents and see how it sounds. So you can see it sounds like it's on key, right? So I'm just going to trim this right here. By the way, if you're interested in this trumpet loop, I got it from Beats. You can get it in the link in the description below as well. The pack comes with 100 high quality and very good sounding trumpet loops. All right. So now let's move on to our guitar. So you can see our guitar is in B flat minor. Let's take a look at our diagram again. So B flat, all right, B flat minor. So how do we go from B flat minor all the way to key B, all right? Because the main chord is in B minor, but this guitar loop is in B flat minor. So you can see this is B flat, right? Then this is B, all right? So we just move 100 cents up or a single semitone up. So we just simply dial this in. And of course, we want the tempo to match. We're going to come right here. Make sure this is in auto mode, all right? Right click, then click 4 bars. All right, then let's listen and see. So if I turn this off, let's see how it sounds. So you can see it matches the chords, right? So now when we hear the whole thing together. So now here we have a major, finally a major we can actually test this out in. And this is a vocal sample. And when I play, this is how it sounds like. Sounds so much off key, all right? So now we go from a major to a B minor, right? So and that's what we reference what we said earlier about relative scale, all right? So now let's look at the chart again. So now how do we find relative minor of F major, all right? Because we need to move from minor to minor, okay? It makes it a whole lot easier. So now the relative minor for F major is we count 3 notes behind. 1, 2, 3. So it's D minor, all right? So now how do we go from D minor to B minor? You can do 2 things. Like I said, that you count all the way up here, you simply count behind, right? I think behind may be a bit easier, but the pitch may sound a bit deeper or lower. But if you count all the way up, it's going to sound a lot more high pitch. So let's say where it counts behind, all right? So this is 1, 2, 3. So this is minus 300 cents, all right? And then if we're to count all the way up, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is plus 900 cents or plus 9 semitones. So now let's see how that will work in FL Studio, right? So you want to make sure you set the timing as well. You come here, right click, and then 2 bars. I think this should be about 2 bars. No, that may be too long. Let's say 1 bar, all right? Make sure it's always in auto and not resample. Okay, make sure it's in auto. All right, then now we're going to try minus 300 cents and see how it sounds like. Now let's try 9 plus 900 cents and see how it sounds like. All right, that sounds good. All right, so now this doesn't end here. So what if maybe you want to keep adding more melodies? Maybe you want to play some notes with your MIDI keyboard, but you don't play in B minor. Transpose is still very helpful for that. It makes that a whole lot easier. Like for example, I play on key C major, right? Play on C major, C minor, and F major, right? But let's assume I'm playing on key C. That's all the white keys. So I'm going to come right here. All right, so now this is B. So how do I go from B to F? So how do I go from B minor, transpose this to B minor? So how do I transpose from? So how do I transpose this sound? If I play, it's going to sound off key. It sounds off key, right? So how do I go from this sound to making it sound on key and make it sound like I'm playing on B minor while actually playing on key C major, all right? So now this is where we're going to look at our chord sheet again. Okay, so now let's look for the relative key of C major. All right, that's all the white keys, or A minor. Remember, A minor is relative key for C major, which is all the white notes. Okay, so that's this key right here. So how many notes will it take us to go from here to here? So we can either count 1, 2. All right, so now this is 1. So 2 notes down. All right, so we're going to go 2 notes down. So now we're going to come to FL Studio and just come to click this wrench tool right here. There's miscellaneous function. Then 2 notes down. This is 1, 2. Then right click it. All right, and that's going to be on key. So even if maybe I'm playing on key F, I'll still do the same thing. I'm going to look for the relative minor for F major. All right, and then transpose it accordingly. It's still the same process. So when I play, so you can see I'm playing on all the white keys, but it sounds like I'm playing on B minor. And I'm going to hit record. Let's hear how it sounds. And now you can see everything sounds really good and sounds like it's on key and on tempo. If you found this helpful and simple, please hit the like button so that other people that need videos like this can easily find it right here on YouTube. And also hit the subscribe button down below so that you can keep up with more helpful content from me on this channel, SCtuts. And I remain so classy. See you soon. Cheers.